Good morning, everyone. Welcome to May 22nd, 2024. We got our pre-market prep session. What is this? If you're new here, you stumbled in. This is our daily session where we go over all the important news, notes, analysis necessary to remain consistently profitable in markets. If you're just popping in and you've missed what we've been looking at, we've been on Coinbase, we've been on silver, we've been on tech stocks, you name it, right? If it's moving, we've been on it the past few weeks, meme stocks, everything in between. And I'm just looking to continue to make patient moves, make smart moves, and ultimately make money moves. You cannot have a 100% win rate, right? But you can make sure that no matter what, you are 100% in, right? You're 100% in on the goal. The pathway might change, but the goal remains constant, right? And all of this is brought to you by Kaizen. Kaizen is a word that represents this Japanese philosophy of getting a little bit better each and every day. Something that we've been embodying long before there was a word, in my vocabulary that summed that up. And we just call it, that 1% movement of us getting 1% better daily and having no 0 days. You don't want to have a day that was a complete dud. And you can avoid that by being here each and every morning, making sure that you're getting the information that keeps you on the right side of moves. And all this, again, is presented and brought to you by the Kaizen event, the first live teaching of this year that will encompass both stocks and AI. So if you're looking to utilize AI to save you time, save you money, and increase personal and professional value in your life in a rapidly changing world, and you want to cement your future in this world of AI, make sure that you're there for this event. I'll keep bringing it up. Mark Cuban said at this point, if you don't know AI, you're pretty much destined to fail, which is kind of a harsh way to put it, but a real way to put it. It's kind of like right when the internet came out. If this isn't something that you learn how to do or learn how to use, you're putting yourself at a severe disadvantage. And we're not about that, right? Part of getting 1% better in a world that's changing each and every day is making sure that you're getting better in accordance with those changes that are happening in the world, right? If we lived in Italy and the sea level's rising each and every day, and you are not learning something that helps you excel in a more waterlogged world, then you're not getting 1% better in accordance with how the world is changing around you. So also make sure that your goals and the pathways, right? The goal remains the same, but the pathway remains malleable. You might have a goal to establish an amazing chocolates company, right? But part of that might be you making sure that you can dominate AI in order to use it to develop the best chocolate, the chocolate in the fastest way, in the most efficient way, the best way to distribute it. You come up with the best websites and landing pages, the best email funnels, right? All of that goes into a company. So you might be sitting there saying, I'm a chocolate guy, I'm not an AI guy. Well, you need to be an AI guy in order to be the best chocolate guy you can be. That is how you need to look at what's happening here, right? It's something that touches each and every avenue, each and every sector. So you got to make sure that you're locked in on it, because you might not see where it fits in, but that's because you don't know yet. A lot of people, might say, "Oh, well, I'm very good with colors, and I'm very good with hues, and I'm very good with the harmonies between those things and putting them together. And I see vivid images in my mind, but they've never come across a paintbrush and they've never come across paint." Right? You could have all the raw elements necessary to do something amazing, but if you never expose yourself to the tools to get that done, it never materializes. Right? How do you expose yourself to it? You put yourself in rooms that you haven't been in before, and you learn about things that you haven't taken the time to learn before. That's the only way you get exposed to this crazy stuff. I got exposed to options completely by chance, right? But it was because I put myself in a room that I needed to, number one, pay to be in, and number two, had to give up my time to be there, right? I remember it like it was yesterday. Could have gone to California, hung with some friends, had fun, right? And instead, I said, you know what? I'm going to take this time and this money and invest in myself, and I'm going to do this. And then suddenly, wow, presented with this opportunity that changed the trajectory of my life. But that did not happen if I didn't put myself in that position. So make sure that, as these things are happening around you, you're putting yourself in those rooms, putting yourself in the position to discover what could fulfill you, because you probably just haven't come across it yet, but you're not going to come across it being in the same rooms you've always been in, right? You're like, I don't like my job and like where my life is going, et cetera, but you don't go anywhere else. You don't learn anything else. You don't explore anything else. So you might never come across that thing that was perfectly for you. So that's really what this event is ultimately about, exposing us to knowledge that we can leverage for our personal and professional gain, but also making sure that we're putting ourselves in arenas to learn things that could really put together the puzzle pieces for us. For a lot of people who, feel lost in this time or feel like they're maybe moving, but just not moving in the right direction, in the right place, it's important to find a community where you can strive toward that together. So if you're not already in that, I'mBetterDaily.com is where you go to reserve your seat. We got early bird pricing that's ending soon, so make sure you hop on that, because after that, you guys know the deal. There ain't no going back. I'm not a big sale guy. I'm a big value guy, and I want people there that, number one, deserve to be there and really, really want to be there, and that will show up. And that's what the cost is for, right? Making sure you're in that seat and taking advantage of this opportunity. Now, in terms of, because people, I've given things out for free. People give things out for free, and you never see them because people don't value it unless they have skin in the game. So put skin in the game, commit to it, and come ready and with expectations. In terms of our newsletter this morning, what we're going over, we got some big earnings on the horizon. Make sure you throw those ones in the chat, signifying your intention to get 1% better, whether it's earnings season, rabbit season, duck season, whatever. It's the season of getting 1% better. So throw that one in the chat. Our top news: AI superpower. The chip maker at the center of the AI revolution will capture the camera this afternoon, with many making big bets before the release of Nvidia's earnings after the bell. It's one of the most talked about stocks in the financial world, and for good reason. The company is helping to build out all the infrastructure needed to power generative artificial intelligence, selling advanced processors to all the tech bigwigs that are splashing out on hardware in the 1990s. Snapshot getting all this infrastructure in place will likely take several years, meaning NVIDIA is still primed for exponential growth. At least that is the hope. The potential has excited investors who have sent the stock soaring since last year. Shares just hit fresh all time highs on Tuesday, over $950, and have nearly doubled year to date. NVIDIA is also up over 550% since the beginning of 2023 and has become the most popularly traded stock on Wall Street. NVIDIA's consensus EPS estimate for Q1 comes in at $5.58, which is up 412% year over year, with a revenue forecast of 24.6 billion, up 242% year over year. Jeez. And that's up from $7.2 billion in the prior year. That's a staggering difference, with the AI darling making nearly as much revenue per quarter as it used to do on an annual basis. If there is any guide to how shares will trade after earnings, keep an eye on forward guidance, accompanying commentary, and the outlook for the artificial intelligence boom. Got to get those BCAAs in after the run. Okay. So the options market is pricing an 8% move either way after earnings, but it could be way more than that, given that Nvidia soared 24% after its last Q1 report. The firm is also now the third biggest US company by market cap, with a valuation of 2.3 trillion, meaning its influence extends to broader market indices like the Nasdaq 100 and the S&P 500. So it's got a weight in the Nasdaq of 6.5% and the S&P of 5%. So that's why, whenever I mention Nvidia, I also mention the broader market implications, because it has heavy weights in both of the indexes. So Nvidia's move will affect both of the indexes. And that's a good thing to remember, right? When you think about SPY and all these things, it's a basket of stocks. It's an ETF. So you need to know that, okay, these are the big movers within the ETF, and then kind of you can paint or put together a mosaic of what you expect out of price action from stocks, like the major indexes, and just kind of, you can start to put the picture together, right? Oh, Nvidia is bullish and SPY has this potential bullish breakout. So if Nvidia goes, then SPY can go, right? Seeing how all those gears fit and really understand a holistic view of price action and market movement. Now, in terms of earnings, you guys know my take, my style. 8% actually isn't that big of an implied move, but don't play anything on earnings you wouldn't throw down the toilet. I say that people still do their own thing, and then they end up coming to the same conclusion that I came to: is that earnings, you play earnings a few times, you blow a few accounts, and then you come to the conclusion that it's best to play the run up to earnings if there's a run up to earnings. And then you put a few more years in the game, and you might come across something like our post earnings strategy, which isn't always going to have the opportunity for you to execute on, but if it does, it's a nice strategy to make some money post earnings. But that's really the big thing with earnings: pre earnings and post earnings. But during earnings, a company could beat and drop. They could beat on the top line, miss the bottom line. They could beat on the, bottom line, miss on the top line. They could beat on both, still drop. They could miss both and still go up. It's like it's a crapshoot. So if you wouldn't flush it down the toilet, don't play it on earnings. That's how it goes each and every time. Remember that there are, stocks associated with Nvidia, so other semiconductors can kind of move in sympathy to whatever Nvidia does. Energy news up for sale. The U.S. Department of Energy is releasing 1 million barrels of gasoline from the Northeast Gasoline Supply Reserve to help lower prices at the pump as Americans hit the road this summer. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys, I've mentioned it on here before, but Gas Buddy is an app that I use just to like help find the best gas or the cheapest gas around you while you're on the road. I don't drive a lot, so typically when I do, I take like a nice long trip, right? And I'm uh cruising and I pick up gas along the way and I'm horrible with directions, so it helps. But it lists all the gas prices and it would list, them in order of like the cheapest gas and what's closest to you. Well, now I've noticed that these gas stations, either gas stations or it's probably the gas stations, they're misreporting the prices of the gas in the app. So you can go in and you put the price like, oh, this is what I paid at the pump per gallon. They're going in and misreporting the price. So like yesterday, I went and pulled up to a Wawa that I expected gas to be 3.49 a gallon. It was 3.69 a gallon, and on the app it said 3.49, and that was not the first time that's happened. So I was like, wow, we got absolute rodent activity here with them, saying, hey, come to our gas station, knowing darn well they're 369 like everybody else in the area. But yeah, anyways, just a little offshoot. I still like the app, but just beware that if you're using it, like I think there's some tomfoolery going on, some machinations, nefarious machinations behind the curtain. Now, the reserve was authorized in 2014 after 2 years after Hurricane Sandy damaged refineries, but the cash had never been used and was due to be closed in line with a law Congress passed in March. While gas prices are up about 15% year to date, some say the release will not make a significant difference in the East Coast region, which burned through more than 3 million barrels per day of gasoline last June alone. Sheesh. DMV drivers do tear up 495. And each other. If y'all haven't noticed, the accidents have been crazy. I literally had one happen 2 cars in front of me yesterday. Um, Merger and acquisition news, time running out. The clock is ticking on BHP's ambitious bid to acquire rival Anglo American as the world's biggest miner. Has until 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to make a binding takeover offer. Anglo American has already rejected 2 proposals from BHP and instead revealed a major company overhaul that included plans to sell or demerge its steelmaking, coal, nickel, platinum, and diamond businesses. If BHP decides to stop pursuing a deal, it will have to stay away for at least 6 months, according to UK takeover rules. That's funny. Is that like a no harassment type deal where they're just like, if you don't seal the deal, then stay away from me? You got this restraining order. In terms of defense news, tactical nukes. The defense sector is on watch after Russia's military started exercises to simulate the use of tactical nuclear weapons, which include the Kinzhal missile, the first hypersonic weapon to be used in the Ukraine war. The exercises ordered by President Vladimir Putin were said to be in response to provocative statements by Western Europe officials, including French President Emmanuel Macron. Tactical nuclear weapons are less destructive than what are known as strategic bombs that can level a city, but they still have significant power. Russia's estimated arsenal of warheads stands around 1,500. So, yeah, we're back to more Russia warhead talk. Never fun. Um, yeah, tactical, yeah, that's crazy. But tactical nukes, basically, they're not like the ones that, leveled Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They're more like precision pinpoint nukes, which again, still very scary, but they don't have the same load size as like the nukes that were dropped previously. So they're not going to do something like level a city and leave it uninhabitable forever. But it's like a mini nuke, essentially, like a mini nuke that's like expert guided and all that. So scary, precise weapons. We're getting away from weapons of just raw power and we're getting to weapons of precision, right? That's really where we're at with things. Attacking infrastructure, hacking, causing discord within enemy countries, right? It's like a lot more low key black ops type movements than it is like somebody build a humongous bomb. We kind of been there, done that. Um, Yeah. So, anyways, if you were wondering what's going on in Putin's head, in terms of today's markets, in Asia, Japan we're down 0.9%, Hong Kong down 0.1, China flat, India up 0.4. The footy in London down 0.4, Paris down 0.6, Frankfurt down 0.2, the Dow down 0.1, S&P down 0.2, Nasdaq down 0.2, crude down 0.5%, gold down 0.3, Bitcoin down 1.1%. Today's economic calendar, yeah, nothing really important. FOMC minutes at 2 p.m., but we get no Powell. So, I mean, keep an eye out for 2 p.m., but it's not going to be that same kind of results that you would get on a normal FOMC Powell day. What else is happening? EU Council approves AI Act. Will it become a world benchmark? Disney's Pixar lays off staff amid ongoing cost cuts. This is only something that's going to continue. At this point, I've been reporting on this for literally a year and a half to 2 years. We talked about the increase of unionization and layoffs, and that has come to fruition and it is not slowing down. So again, learn how to put your money to work for you in markets, learn AI because you have no idea what the company that you work for is planning to do, and they do not have your best interest in mind, right? If it aligns with their best interest, then sure. But if they're looking at you, right, and at this point, we're getting to each and every week where there is some new crazy update when it comes to artificial intelligence, right? Over 2 weeks ago, it could not speak and tutor you and do real time translations and all that. And that was literally 2 weeks ago. What about 2 months from now? Right? What about 2 years from now? There is no time to be like, oh, I'm eventually gonna pick up on it, I guess, at some point, right? I'm gonna wait for it to come to me. Oh, it will come to you. It will come to you, but it might not be in the form that you want it to come to you. So, whether it's in graphic design or animation or sales or whatever you're in, right? Accounting, all of that. I just sent out yesterday an email. It for like literally GPT 4.0 prepared these insane graphs and illustrations from Excel spreadsheets. Like it's just like saves so much time and it's just so important to know how to use these tools and how to talk to them because they're not perfect, right? The tool is only as good as the person who uses it. It's just like somebody discovers stock options. They're like, wow, this is awesome. And then you blow your account. You're like, wow, I have no idea how to use this. It's the same thing with AI. If you don't put in the right prompts, you don't know how to use it in order to censor itself and also give you the best answers, then it can give you incomplete answers if you ask the wrong question. It's like the same thing talking to your voice assistant, right? It's like there's like a funny thing where my grandma would never talk to Alexa or Google the right way. Like you had to say like Hey Google or Okay Google, and she would always just say Google, 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 or she would say Hi Google or something like that. And it's like Grandma, you have to talk to it a certain way so that you get the right results. So the same thing with AI, right? You got to know the right prompts. You got to know how to tailor those prompts, how you can use it to troubleshoot itself, all that good stuff. So make sure you're in the room June 19th through 21st. Kaizen online learning event. I'mBetterDaily.com. That's where you go for that. So Lowe's backs guidance on solid start to spring. Macy's lifts outlook even as comparable sales fall. Tesla highlights electric semi potential at conference. Regulatory review. MasterCard, Visa face no competition. Lululemon sees consumer taste shift revamps product teams. This is one of the few times that Lululemon actually doesn't look good. Typically, Lululemon continues to crush it, but Lululemon now, I believe, just recently lost a pretty valuable long-term uptrend, and Lululemon is just not looking real hot right now in the midst of firing a big old weekly bear flag. So Lululemon definitely, not having the sweet rosy outlook that it used to have. Yeah, as I'm looking here, definitely losing a long-standing uptrend support that it actually bounced off of a few weeks ago, and then we closed beneath last week, and we're pushing even further beneath this week. So, not good news for Lululemon. Nothing gold can stay. Ponyboy taught us that. Tesla highlights. Oh, we already talked about that. Children's Place, ticker PLCE, plunges after departure of its CEO. Apple, ticker AAPL, asks New Jersey court to toss DOJ antitrust lawsuit. And then top Novavax investor ends proxy fight after Sanofi deal. So we're looking good heading into market open today, May 22nd, 2024. Let's see. Oh, Google Maps is accurate from my experience on gas prices. It shows you when you search for gas near me. That's nice. That is very nice. I'll have to check that out. I always just use Apple Maps because it's just there on the iPhone, but I'll have to check out Google Maps, see if they can give me some accurate pricing because the rats have infested Gas Buddy. They are in, and they are indulging in trickery. But yeah, guys, let's make it another great day, right? We got some solid looks that we have lined up, waiting for them to continue to, evolve and play out and remaining patient in the meantime. We got big earnings here after the bell today with Nvidia. So we'll see if we get any major movement from that. We might just get a low volume day in which the market kind of sits there and just waits, which wouldn't be a bad move considering the fact that it's such a heavy weight in both the indexes. So let's see if we get any major movement, anything like that. If not, we remain patient. We let the looks that we have continue to flourish, and we see what it gives us tomorrow. But let's make it a great day, everybody. And I'll see you back here tomorrow morning for our next pre-market prep session. Have a good one.